So the way I do this kind of video is that I record the gameplay and then I do a voiceover because I simply don't have I don't want to be distracted while I'm running the dungeon. I don't have the ability to manage too many things at the same time and still being able to give details to everything. So in this dungeon, you should do enough practice runs to get to know almost all the mechanics of the boss before you attempt any clearing. So how do you know when you are ready? I would say being the last one to die, or don't die at all in 15 minutes. Then you know you are ready to go in. And like you can die once or twice before like before 8 minutes mark and think that oh you're good to go now. In this dungeon, you want to not die at all because unless you have a very good stats, simply you will not have enough DPS. Or unless your whole team is very well geared, or else it just wouldn't make it. Many times that we failed is simply due to because people just don't have enough damage. Like no one died, or someone died. One person died, and it turns into just 9-man dungeon run, and that's not what you want. And it ruins the run. This run has a very high damage requirement, 92 million HP, and very high defense for the boss. So if you don't have enough piercing, like myself, I only have a 10% piercing with the souvenir buff. Then you want to pop almost all the potions you can't to boost your damage. So in the very beginning, it's very easy. Before 800 million around there, the boss will spawn total of 4 waves of minions. Just take care of them, kill them. There's no tricky part about that. And then once the 4 waves spawned, he will jump down and use a screen-wide stun ability, and you will require a knight to block the block the stun for the teammates. And follow up with that is a insta kill cannon, and then it will come up later on that the insta kill cannon ability. Now after he jumps down, right now what you want to do is dodge all the abilities, dodge all the cannon minions, the yellow tile thing, it will stun you for 3 seconds. And at the same time you have to dodge the boss attack. Pretty much if you have below 3000 defense, any of the boss attack will insta kill you. Now me being at around 3400 defense, I can tank most of the attack for one time, because each time you get hit, there will be a debuff stack onto you, and each debuff will decrease 7.5% of your current defense. So usually if you get stacked more than one time, you would be dead, guarantee, if you get hit again by the boss. Now what you want to do here, I kind of didn't mention fast enough, is that at 680 million, all the team members should be at 12 o'clock north side, right next to the ship. The reason for that is that at 3 and 9 o'clock, the boss will spawn 2 spinning ads, and those spinning ads are unkillable by normal attacks. It has to be dragged to 6 o'clock where the spikes are, and that's the only way to kill them. The spinning ads also do a very large amount of damage. I believe is percentage, like your health percentage damage. I think each tick is probably 20 to 30% of your health. So if two of them got aggro by any of the members that is not a knight at 6 p.m. At 6 o'clock, they will be pretty much dead, and the whole team will just lose their tempo as you will. So if between 680 and 500 million, there's not much mechanic like special things going on. Just dodge the yellow tile. As you see, after each attack I basically have to dodge once, hence why the damage output environment is so chaotic. There's almost not a single moment where you can just stand still and just do damage. You have to always be dodging, always be watching out for things. Now here I got stunned and followed by a second stun, and then because I was typing trying to tell people to stay on 12, then the insta could kill me right there. Now one thing I should mention is that make sure at 500 million HP your party member stops attacking the boss until you see the new spinning edge spawned and being taken care of. Then you can proceed to take the HP lower than 500 million. At 480 million, that's when he will use a screen-wide stun ability again. Then he will go into the next phase, which is jumping around all the platforms. You will have to follow him up very quickly, because if no one is on the boss, he will start regenerating HP in terms of 20-30 million per tick, and that's not what you want. When you jump on the platforms on the sides, you will require a epic mount, the purple mount. That's the only mount that has enough speed to allow you to do the jump. If you do fall into the poison, make sure that you have 50% HP recovery potion and a very high HP recovery potion along with that. So 2 potions at the same time available, or else you will most likely to be dead if you don't have it. Now as the boss jumps back to the main platform, he will then go into the next stage, which is stage 4, where he will put up a shield for himself. How do you know he enters the stage 4 is that when he turns red right now, and has some bubbles around him. So the damage reduction is very high. So normally I will be critting for around 600k, and then right there I only crit for 79k. So you will know that you will have to use a crossbow to take his shield down. The first one being on the right side. It's always the right side. And 2 people will be on the crossbow. And it should be relatively easy, because simply all his ability is very dodgeable for the people who's using a crossbow. But if you think you might not be being able to do it, have a knight, so 3 people on their side, 1 knight watching over, and 2 people just using the crossbow. The knight will use the shield to block some of the cannon's attack. Now after the right side take down the shield of the boss, he will then generate a second shield, and this time it's gonna be on the left side of the map. And again, same procedure. Have 2 people on the left side using the crossbow to take down his shield. Now for a reference where you want to be is that at 5 minutes, you would want to at least get to where the first shield is already down. Like that is where you would want to keep an eye on to know if your team got enough damage or not. By 3 minutes, all shields should be down and enter the last stage, where the poison comes out on the floor. So when we'll be in the last stage is 180 million. 180 million is where the last stage is. One thing I should talk about is that you will want to put the boss near to the 12 o'clock position, where the barrels and tubes will be spawning, as you will see very soon. And at least two people of the team should grab some tubes to place on the floor, and all the other members should jump on the tubes, simply because the poison not only will bring your health down, they will also reduce your damage. Now, as you can see, the tubes are being placed down, and one person on the 12 o'clock right now is bringing some barrels over, and those explosive barrels will stun the boss. If used correctly, the boss will be in a stun chain, like as you can see right here. Damage wise, it's only the only time that is safe, assuming the stun goes well. Then the boss will jump to other platform just like before, and then you will have to follow up very quickly. Now, to mention that this stage is where most people die, because simply because the damage from the boss and the poison is just too much. That is why I said in the beginning, you don't want to die even once, ideally, before this stage, last stage. Now, it's the same thing, just after he jumps, you bring the tubes closer to the boss and barrel stun him. Now, he jumps again, as you see right here, the two spinning at spawned. You will, at the night, whoever was responsible for doing the spinning before will stay on the main platform, and everybody else, every single one, should follow the boss, or else you will bring the spinning adds aggro, and that will ruin the run. Like, it doesn't matter how it goes, it will just straight up, you have to reset when you only have a 5% left, and that is not what you want. So each time he jumps, the spinning will spawn. As you can see right here, he jumps again. Now the spinning at spawned, and whoever got the aggro will either jump to other platform to get rid of the aggro, or the knight will have to stay on the main platform and take the aggro from the spinning ads. Now, under 50 million, it should be no problem. Now, it's just the matter of taking care of the barrel, the explosive barrel, and other teammates will just pull out as much damage as possible. As you can see, right now our priest is down, but luckily it's just a priest. Our damage, the DPS is not affected in this dungeon. If you have enough DPS, the priest is not really necessary, since potion is allowed in this dungeon, unlike Sea Death. But that's pretty much the whole run. I should say that for how do you know if you have enough damage for this dungeon? If you do above 120 million in C def, and assuming you have you understand the dungeon mechanic, for everything, all the cannon ads, spinning ads, the jumping, everything, like you understand them, and you memorize the HP points where the boss will enter the different stage, then that's when you know you are ready to clear the dungeon. Or besides that, the whole reason for us why it took us so long to clear this dungeon, we cleared this dungeon on November 18th, but if you look on the ranking, it says 19th, simply because the server is in a different time zone. But I'm in NA West, and we cleared it on November 18th. Why it took us 18 days to clear this dungeon is when we have almost mastered within the 3 hours of practicing, is because unable to find players that can do enough damage. They have the gear score, but they might not have the other small stuff like boss damage, crit damage, it depends on the class, or like pet or gems, you know, like all these things take a small part in your damage, your total damage, and it adds up to a very big part of your damage compared to other people, you know. But I hope so-called guide help you guys to run this dungeon. If you have any other questions, feel free to comment below. I will try my best to answer all of them, and thank you for watching.